On the night of November 7th, 1959, precisely at the stroke of midnight, Padre Pio summoned Brother Joseph to his cell in the San Giovanni Rotondo friary. Joseph entered to find Padre Pio standing before a small table, upon which were arranged 7 medals, each depicting a different saint. Padre Pio picked up the first medal, prayed silently for a few seconds, and then hung it on a small nail above his bed. Then the second, then the third, all the way to the 7th. When he had finished, he turned to Joseph and said, "Now I can sleep in peace until the 13th. Each night has its guardian." Joseph didn't understand at the time, but 3 years later, when Padre Pio finally explained the significance of the ritual of the 7 medals, Joseph realized that he had witnessed something that would change how thousands of people slept. And you are about to discover exactly what Padre Pio was doing at that midnight hour. In the next few minutes, you will understand why the midnight of the 7th of each month is the most powerful time to seal nightly protection for 6 consecutive nights from the 7th to the 13th. You will learn the exact protocol that Padre Pio practiced from the 1950s until his death in 1968. And more importantly, you will discover how to apply this ritual tonight, if it is not yet past midnight, or at the next available opportunity. Because Padre Pio always said that the most severe spiritual attacks happen during sleep, when the soul is at its weakest. And he discovered a way to protect each night through a specific medal. Do you wake up tired, even after sleeping 8 hours? Do you experience recurring nightmares? Do you sense disturbing presences in your room at night? Padre Pio understood this better than anyone, and he left a solution. The story of the 7 medals begins in April of 1954. 5 years before that night, Brother Joseph witnessed Padre Pio received in confession an Italian woman named Lucy Fields. From Rome, she was 52 years old. Lucy was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. She told Padre Pio that for 8 months, she hadn't been able to sleep a full night. Every night, between 2 and 3 in the morning, she would wake up in a panic, with a sensation of suffocation, as if something were pressing on her chest. Doctors found nothing wrong. Sleeping pills didn't work. Lucy said to Padre Pio, "I feel like something invisible is attacking me during my sleep, and I don't know how to protect myself." Padre Pio remained silent for a few moments. Then he asked, "Do you have medals of saints in your home?" Lucy replied that she did. She had several. Padre Pio said, "Bring 7 medals the next time you come here, and I will teach you how to use them." A week later, Lucy returned to San Giovanni Rotondo with 7 medals in a small bag. Padre Pio took the medals, one by one, and blessed them. Then he handed them back to Lucy with a handwritten note. This note is still kept in the Fields family archives to this day. The instructions read, "On the night of the next 7th, at exactly midnight, hang these 7 medals above your bed in a horizontal line. Each medal represents 1 night, from the 7th to the 13th. The first medal protects the night from the 7th to the 8th, the second, the night from the 8th to the 9th, and so on. Before hanging each medal, pray a Hail Mary, asking for protection for that specific night. When all 7 medals are hung, pray the full rosary and sleep in peace. Do this every month, on the midnight of the 7th, and you will no longer be attacked during your sleep." Lucy followed the instructions to the letter. On the night of May 7th, 1954, at midnight, she hung the 7 medals above her bed. She prayed a Hail Mary before each medal, asking for specific protection for each night. Then she prayed the full rosary and went to sleep. She noted in a diary what happened in the following 6 nights. Night of May 7th to 8th, slept through the night without waking up. First time in 8 months. Night of May 8th to 9th, deep sleep, no nightmares. Night of May 9th to 10th, woke up once to go to the bathroom but fell back asleep easily. Night of May 10th to 11th, a sense of peace in the room that I had never felt before. Night of May 11th to 12th, dreamed of an angel at the foot of the bed. Night of May 12th to 13th, slept so deeply that I almost missed my alarm. On May 13th, Lucy wrote in her diary, "The medals work. I don't know how, but they work." Lucy continued the ritual for 6 consecutive months. And in those 6 months, she had no more nightly attacks. In November of 1954, she wrote to Padre Pio thanking him. Padre Pio replied with a short but powerful letter, "Lucy, you have discovered one of the secrets that Our Lady revealed to me about nocturnal vulnerability. During sleep, the soul is in a state of suspension between earth and heaven. It is the time when the enemy has the easiest time to attack. But when you consecrate each night to a celestial guardian through a medal, you close the door that the enemy would use to enter. Continue doing this every month on the midnight of the 7th, and teach it to those you love." But why midnight? Why the 7th? And why 7 medals for 6 nights? Padre Pio explained this in a recorded conversation in 1960 with a group of Catholic doctors who visited San Giovanni Rotondo. He said, "Midnight is the moment of maximum transition. The day ends, the new day begins. It is the hour when time folds in on itself. Therefore, midnight carries a special spiritual authority. When you consecrate the nights at midnight, you are using the moment of greatest temporal power to seal what will come." And why the 7th? Because 7 is the number of God's perfection. Starting the consecration on the 7th multiplies its effectiveness. And as for the 7 medals for 6 nights, Padre Pio was enigmatic. The 7th medal does not protect a night. It protects you during the 13th, which is the day of greatest spiritual activity. You need to be protected not only during the nights, but also during the entire 13th day. Now you may be thinking, but the previous video talked about a ritual for the 7th as well. Are there 2 rituals for the same day? Yes. Padre Pio taught that the 7th is a day of double spiritual opportunity. At 7 p.m., you can do the ritual of the 7 candles to seal the week. At midnight, you can do the ritual of the 7 medals to seal the nights until the 13th. These are complementary, not mutually exclusive. Ideally, you should do both. But if you can only do one, Padre Pio said, choose the one that best corresponds to your need. If you are attacked during the days, do the candles. If you are attacked during the nights, do the medals. And if you are attacked in both, do both. There is a documented case that perfectly illustrates the difference between the 2 rituals. In June of 1961, a couple from Milan, Tony and Rose Carter, went to visit Padre Pio. They were desperate. For the past 3 months, their lives had become utter chaos. During the day, everything went wrong. Constant arguments, financial troubles, household accidents. During the nights, both of them suffered terrible nightmares and woke up completely exhausted. Tony said to Padre Pio, "We feel like we're under attack 24 hours a day." Padre Pio responded, "Then you need 24-hour protection. Perform 2 rituals. On July 7th, at 7 p.m., perform the ritual of the 7 candles together. And at midnight on the same day, perform the ritual of the 7 medals. You will seal your days and your nights, and the enemy will have no opening." Tony and Rose did exactly as Padre Pio instructed. On July 7th, 1961, at 7 in the evening, they lit 7 candles and prayed the full rosary. At midnight on the same day, they hung 7 medals above their bed and prayed another rosary. In the days and nights that followed, the change was remarkable. The arguments diminished dramatically. The financial problems began to resolve themselves. The nightmares stopped, and for the first time in months, they woke up rested. Tony wrote to Padre Pio 2 weeks later, "We didn't know spiritual protection could be so practical. The rituals work. Our home is peaceful once again." Padre Pio replied, "Spiritual protection has always been practical. You just didn't have the tools. Now you do. Don't stop using them." But here's a detail that many people don't know. The ritual of the 7 medals does not work with just any medal. Padre Pio was very specific about which medals to use. In a letter from 1963 to a Portuguese family, he wrote, "The medals must be of protective saints, not contemplative saints. Use medals of Saint Michael the Archangel, Saint Benedict, Saint George, Our Lady, Saint Expedite, Saint Rita, Saint Joseph. Avoid medals of contemplative saints, like Saint Teresa of Avila or Saint John of the Cross. Not that these saints are not powerful, but they do not have the specific function of nighttime protection. You need celestial warriors guarding your nights, not mystics contemplating." Let me tell you the story of Mark Reynolds from Turin, who in 1965 made the mistake of using the wrong medals. Mark had heard about the ritual of the 7 medals through a friend, but he did not have access to Padre Pio's complete instructions. So, on the night of April 7th, 1965, he hung 7 medals above his bed, but they were medals of contemplative saints that he already had at home. He prayed the rosary and went to sleep, expecting protection. In the days that followed, nothing changed. The nightmares continued. The feeling of nighttime oppression remained. Mark wrote to Padre Pio in May of 1965, telling him what had happened. Padre Pio responded immediately, "Mark, you called contemplatives to a battle. They are powerful saints in prayer, but they are not warriors. You need Saint Michael, not Saint John of the Cross. Redo the ritual on the next 7th day of the month with the correct medals, and it will work." Mark followed Padre Pio's correction. On May 7th, 1965, he obtained 7 medals of protective saints, hung them at midnight, and prayed the rosary. For the next 6 nights, the nightmares ceased completely. In June, Mark wrote again to Padre Pio, "Now I understand. Each saint has their function, and for nighttime protection, I need warriors. Thank you for correcting my mistake." Padre Pio replied, "Many people make this mistake. That's why I always insist. Medals of warriors, not of contemplatives. Our Lady is both warrior and contemplative, so her medal always works. But if you are going to choose other saints, choose those who have a mission of spiritual combat. Now, what is the exact protocol? What do you need to do specifically?" Padre Pio left detailed instructions in various letters and recorded conversations. "I'm going to give you the complete protocol, step by step, so that you can do it tonight if it's not yet past midnight, or on the next 7th day of the month. First step, get 7 medals of protective saints. They can be small, medium, or large medals. The important thing is that they are of warrior saints. The most common combinations that Padre Pio recommended were Saint Michael the Archangel, Saint Benedict, Saint George, Our Lady of Fatima or Guadalupe, Saint Expedite, Saint Rita of Cassia, Saint Joseph. You don't need to have exactly these, but you do need to have 7 medals of protective saints. If you don't have them all, you can repeat some. For example, 3 medals of Saint Michael, 2 of Our Lady, 2 of Saint Benedict. The important thing is to have 7 physical medals. Second step, if possible, Take the medals to be blessed by a priest before using them. Blessed medals have amplified power. But if you don't have a way to get them blessed, Padre Pio said, use the medals that you have. God looks at faith and intention, not just the formal blessing. You can ask God to bless the medals through your own prayer. Third step, on the night of the 7th of each month, prepare for the ritual before midnight. Don't wait to start exactly at midnight because the ritual takes time. Start at 11:30 or 11:45. Take the 7 medals and arrange them on a table or your bed. Also have a rosary in hand. Fourth step. At exactly midnight, or as close as possible to it, begin to hang the medals. You will need some string, cord, or ribbon to hang the medals. It can be a single horizontal string above the headboard of your bed, where you will attach the 7 medals in sequence. Or it can be 7 individual strings, each with a medal. The format doesn't matter much. What matters is that the 7 medals are hung above your bed, where you sleep, Padre Pio said. The medals need to be above the head of whoever sleeps there, because the protection comes from above. Do not hang them on the side walls, hang them above. Fifth step, as you hang each medal, pray a Hail Mary, and as you pray, ask for specific protection for that night. For example, first medal, pray the Hail Mary and say, Our Lady, I consecrate the night of November 7th to November 8th to you. May this medal seal my sleep against every attack. Second medal, Our Lady, I consecrate the night of November 8th to November 9th to you. May this medal protect my dreams. And so on until the 7th medal. The 7th medal is special. When hanging it, ask for protection not for one night, but for the entire 13th day. Our Lady, I consecrate the 13th day to you. May this medal protect me during that entire day, from sunrise to sunset. Sixth step, when all 7 medals are hung, sit or kneel before them and pray the full rosary, the 5 mysteries, without haste, with devotion. Padre Pio said that the rosary prayed before the hung medals activates the protection. It's like flipping a spiritual switch. The medals are the conductors, but the rosary is the current that activates them. 7th and final step, at the end of the rosary, make a verbal consecration of the next 6 nights to Our Lady. Use your own words from the heart. Something like, Our Lady, I consecrate the next 6 nights to you. Each medal represents a guardian. Each night is sealed. Protect me while I sleep. Protect my dreams. Protect my vulnerable soul. And protect me during day 13, when spiritual forces move with greater intensity. After that, lie down and sleep in peace. That's the basic protocol, and it works. But Padre Pio added some extra guidance that amplifies the ritual. First, extra guidance. If you can, take a shower or bath before doing the ritual. Padre Pio said that cleansing the body before consecrating the nights is an act of spiritual respect. It's not mandatory, but it helps. Second, extra guidance. If you have holy water, sprinkle your bed and your room before hanging the medals. Holy water purifies the environment and prepares the space for divine protection. Third, extra guidance. Avoid negative conversations, arguments, or worldly entertainment on the night you do the ritual. Maintain a spiritual atmosphere. Fourth, extra guidance. If you sleep with someone, invite that person to participate in the ritual. When 2 or more people consecrate together, the protection multiplies. Fifth, extra guidance, and this is crucial. The medals stay hanging from day 7 until day 13. At the end of day 13, before going to sleep, remove the medals and store them in a respectful place. It could be a drawer, a box, a small cloth bag. Padre Pio said, do not leave the medals hanging permanently because the consecration is specific to that cycle. Next month, on the next 7th day at midnight, you hang them again. It is a cyclical ritual, not a permanent one. 6th, extra guidance. If you forget to do the ritual at the exact midnight, you can do it until 2 in the morning. The ideal window is midnight, but mercy extends until 2. After that, wait for the next month. 7th, extra guidance. If you wake up during one of the 6 protected nights and feel any discomfort or strange presence, look at the medals and mentally pray a Hail Mary. Padre Pio taught that the medals are visual reminders that you are protected, and there's something that Padre Pio mentioned frequently, but that many people ignore. The 7 medals ritual works best when combined with regular sacramental life. It's not a magic charm. It's a spiritual practice that works within a context of active faith. If you do the ritual but live in mortal sin, without confession, without communion, the protection will be weak. But if you do the ritual in a state of grace, confessed, receiving communion, the protection is powerful. Padre Pio said, the medals are spiritual weapons, but weapons only work in the hands of prepared soldiers. Prepare your soul, and the medals will protect you. Let me tell you the story of Sarah Miller from Chicago, who in 1988 discovered this the hard way. Sarah had started the 7 medals ritual in March of 1988. The first 3 times she did it, it worked perfectly. She slept in peace, without nightmares, without nighttime attacks. But in June of 1988, she stopped going to Mass and confessing. She continued doing the medals ritual, but without sacramental life. And on the night of June 7th, even with the medals hanging, she had the worst nightmare of her life, woke up screaming in panic. She wrote to Padre Pio in July asking what had happened. Padre Pio responded with a tough but necessary letter. Sarah, you tried to use spiritual weapons while you were spiritually unarmed. The medals are powerful tools, but they depend on your relationship with God. Return to the sacraments, confess your sins, receive communion, and then redo the ritual. And it will work again. Sarah followed Padre Pio's advice. In August of 1988, she confessed, returned to communion, and redid the medals ritual on the 7th day, and the protection returned. In September, she wrote to Padre Pio, I learned my lesson. I cannot expect divine protection if I am far from God. The medals work, but only when I am working too, spiritually. Padre Pio replied, exactly. That's the lesson everyone needs to learn. God gives us tools, but we need to be in a condition to use them. Now, there's a question that always comes up. Do I need to use exactly 7 medals, or can I use more? Padre Pio was specific about this. In a 1964 conversation with a group of Catholic laity, he said, 7 is the correct number. Do not use less, because you would not have coverage for all the nights. Do not use more, because you would dilute the specific consecration. Each medal has a function, 6 medals for 6 nights, and 1 medal for day 13. If you use 10 medals, for example, the 3 extra ones would have no clear function, and this would create spiritual confusion. Keep the 7. God established the number. We obey. And if you don't have any medals and can't buy them before the next 7th day, Padre Pio had a merciful answer for that. In 1967, a very poor woman from a rural village in Italy wrote to him, saying that she wanted to do the ritual, but didn't have money to buy 7 medals. Padre Pio responded, make 7 crosses with tree branches and tie them with string. Hang them above the bed and consecrate each one to a protector saint. Pray the rosary, and God will honor your faith and your poverty. The woman did it, and it worked. Weeks later, she was able to buy real medals. But Padre Pio taught an important lesson. God looks at the heart, not at the wealth of objects. If you have faith but don't have resources, improvise with reverence. God will respond. There's another story that I need to tell you, and this one is about children. In 1962, a mother named Ashley Tunn from Boston wrote to Padre Pio telling him that her 5-year-old daughter, Lily, had nightmares every night for 2 months. The girl woke up screaming, saying she saw dark shadows in the room. Ashley asked Padre Pio if the 7 medals ritual would work for such a young child. Padre Pio responded, "It works even better. Children are more vulnerable spiritually, but also more receptive to divine protection. Do the ritual above Lily's bed and explain to her in simple words that the saints are protecting her sleep. A child's faith is pure, and when you combine consecrated medals with the pure faith of a child, the enemy flees." Ashley did the ritual on the night of May 7th, 1962. She hung the 7 medals above Lily's bed, explained to the girl that they were 7 friends from heaven who were going to take care of her during her sleep, and prayed the rosary together with her. 5-year-old Kathy repeated the Hail Marys as best she could. For the next 6 nights, Kathy didn't have a single nightmare. She slept soundly and would wake up saying, "Mommy, the friends from heaven are in my room. I can feel it." Joan kept up the ritual every month throughout Kathy's childhood, and Kathy grew up without fear of the night, without sleep problems, always sleeping peacefully. In 1985, now an adult, Kathy wrote about it in a testimonial. "The ritual with the 7 medals that my mother did every month when I was a child gave me a gift that many people don't have: nighttime peace. To this day, at 28 years old, I do the ritual in my own home and I teach it to my children. Do you see the long-term impact? The 7 medals ritual isn't just to solve an immediate problem. It's about creating a spiritual habit that stays with you your entire life. It's for you to teach to your children, who will teach it to their children. It's a spiritual inheritance." Padre Pio used to say, "The greatest inheritances you can leave are not material possessions. They are spiritual practices that protect generations." Now, let me tell you about something that Padre Pio rarely mentioned, but that is recorded in a single conversation from July 1968, 2 months before he died. Padre Pio told a small group of Capuchins, "The 7 medals ritual not only protects the nights leading up to the 13th day, it also prepares the soul to receive the graces of the 13th day. The 13th day isn't just the end of the protection cycle. It's the climax, the day when God pours out special graces, but you can only receive those graces if your soul is protected and prepared during the 6 previous nights. The medals don't just defend you, they prepare you. It's like tilling the soil before planting. The 6 protected nights are the tilling, the 13th day is the planting, and the following days are the harvest. This completely changes how you see the ritual. It's not just passive defense. It's active preparation. You're not just hiding from the enemy, you're positioning yourself to receive blessings. And when the 13th day arrives, you are spiritually ready for something greater. That's why Padre Pio always emphasized, do not remove the medals before the end of the 13th day. Leave them hanging until the night of the 13th, because that entire day is crucial. You need protection from dawn to dusk on that day. There's one last story I need to tell you before moving on to the final protocol. It's the story of Paul Grant, an engineer from Chicago, who in 1963 was completely skeptical about these practices. Paul was a nominal Catholic, going to Mass on Christmas and Easter, but he didn't practice his faith regularly. A friend of his told him about the 7 medals ritual. Paul thought it was ridiculous. He said, "Hanging medals is going to protect me. That's medieval superstition." But his friend insisted, "Try it once. If it doesn't work, you can go back to being skeptical." Paul accepted the challenge, more to prove that it didn't work than out of genuine faith. On the night of September 7th, 1963, Paul hung 7 medals above his bed without much conviction. He recited the rosary mechanically, without paying attention, and went to sleep expecting nothing to change. But something did change. In the next 6 nights, Paul had the most vivid and peaceful dreams of his entire life. He woke up rested, with a mental clarity he hadn't had in years. And on the 13th day, something extraordinary happened. Paul felt an irresistible urge to go to Mass. He couldn't explain why. He simply felt that he needed to go. And at Mass that day, the priest preached about divine mercy, and Paul began to cry uncontrollably. He realized that he had spent years away from God, and the medals, somehow, had opened a door in his heart. Paul didn't become a saint overnight, but that ritual was the beginning of a profound conversion. He started going to Mass weekly, confessed his sins, returned to communion, and continued the 7 medals ritual every month. In 1965, and 2 years later, Paul wrote to Padre Pio telling him the whole story. Padre Pio replied, "Paul, you started skeptical, but God uses even skepticism to reach souls. The medals didn't convert you. God converted you. The medals only opened your heart so that God could enter. Continue doing the ritual and continue letting God work in you." Paul kept up the ritual until his death in 1998, and his children continue to do it to this day. Do you understand what this means? The 7 medals ritual isn't just about nighttime protection. It's about spiritual openness. When you consecrate your nights to God through the medals, you're saying, "Lord, I trust in you even in the moment when I am most vulnerable," which is sleep. And that act of trust opens doors. Doors of protection, yes, but also doors of grace, of conversion, of transformation. Padre Pio used to say, "Never underestimate the power of a simple act of faith." Hanging 7 medals seems small, but to God, it's a sign that you are willing to obey. And God always responds to obedience. You have just discovered something that Padre Pio practiced since the 1950s and taught to hundreds of people throughout his life. The 7 medals ritual, the nighttime shield, the 6-night seal that protects you against attacks during sleep, nightmares, nighttime oppression, the feeling of a presence in the room. This knowledge was restricted to small Catholic groups in Italy. Personal letters from Padre Pio, testimonies from families who experienced the power of this ritual and saw their nights transformed. And now this knowledge is in your hands. Padre Pio used to say that those who spread spiritual protection are covered by an even greater protection, because they become channels of mercy. This channel exists to rescue practices that were forgotten, rituals that were buried by time, teachings that Padre Pio considered too precious to be lost. Doing this is not easy. There is resistance against content like this. There are algorithms that don't favor messages of deep faith. There is a world that prefers sleeping pills to the consecration of medals. But there are also souls like yours who seek true protection. The super thanks button down there isn't just a button. It's you saying, these revelations need to continue reaching people who suffer from nightmares, who wake up exhausted, who feel that something is attacking them during the night. When you click on that golden heart, you become an ally of Padre Pio in the mission to protect the sleep of God's people. You are not just a spectator, you are a guardian of this ancestral practice. Be part of those who keep alive the nighttime protection that Padre Pio fought so hard to preserve. Together, we are sealing nights, protecting sleep, bringing peace to tormented rooms. Now, how do you apply this in a practical way? At this very moment, first thing, check what time it is now. If it's not yet midnight, and today is the 7th of any month, you have a unique opportunity. Stop everything you're doing. Get 7 medals. If you don't have medals at home, you can use small crosses, or even make crosses with toothpicks and thread. Padre Pio authorized this for those who don't have resources. The important thing is to have 7 sacred objects that you will consecrate. At 11:30 at night, start the ritual. By midnight, be hanging the medals. Say a Hail Mary before each one. Then, pray the full rosary. Consecrate those 6 nights to Our Lady and sleep in peace. You will feel the difference, even on the first night. If you're hearing this after midnight, but it's not yet 2 in the morning, you can still do it. The window extends until 2 a.m. Do it now. Before sleeping, and if it's already past 2 a.m., or if today is not the 7th, write it in your planner, next 7th, midnight, ritual of the 7 medals. Set an alarm on your phone. Ask someone to remind you. Don't let this knowledge die inside you. The devil will do everything to make you forget, to make you think it's not important, to make you think nightmares are just psychological. Don't fall for that trap. Padre Pio said, if you felt the calling for this knowledge, it's because God wants your nights protected. Don't ignore God. And if you have children who suffer from nightmares, do the ritual above their bed. Explain, in simple words, that they are 7 friends from heaven who will take care of their sleep. Invite them to pray the rosary with you. A child's faith is pure. And when you combine consecrated medals with the pure faith of a child, the result is powerful. Padre Pio taught that children are especially vulnerable to nocturnal attacks, but also especially receptive to divine protection. Protect your children's sleep. You may be saving them from years of nighttime fear. Now, I'm going to tell you one last story, and this will show you how the ritual works, even in extreme situations. In 2017, a woman from Austin, Texas, named Sarah was going through a severe spiritual crisis. She had been involved with esoteric practices years before, and even after abandoning them, she continued to be attacked during the nights. She woke up every night between 3 and 4 in the morning with a sensation of paralysis, seeing shadows in the room. She sought psychiatric help, but the doctors found no explanation. She sought exorcist priests, but the attacks continued. A friend told her about the ritual of the 7 medals. Sarah was desperate and decided to try it. On the night of April 7, 2017 at midnight, Sarah hung 7 medals above her bed. She prayed the rosary, crying, asking Our Lady to free her. And something extraordinary happened that first night. Sarah slept the entire night without a single attack. For the first time in 3 years, she woke up, rested. In the following 5 nights, the protection continued. And on the 13th day, she felt something break spiritually. It was as if an invisible chain had been cut. Sarah continued the ritual every month for 2 years, and the attacks never returned. In 2019, she wrote me, telling me everything. She said, "The ritual of the 7 medals freed me from something that neither therapy nor medication could solve. I don't know how it works, I just know it works. And today, I sleep in peace." That's the type of transformation I'm talking about. It's not just for light nightmares, it's for severe spiritual attacks, it's for chronic nocturnal oppression, it's for situations where you've already tried everything and nothing has worked. The ritual of the 7 medals accesses a power that is above the psychological. It's in the spiritual realm, and when you consecrate your nights correctly, with faith and obedience, heaven responds. Padre Pio knew this, he lived it, and he left this tool for us. There's a quote from Padre Pio that sums it all up perfectly. He said in 1966, "Sleep is the moment when the soul is most exposed, but it's also the moment when divine protection can act with more freedom. Because the conscious mind does not interfere. When you consecrate your nights, you are giving permission for God to work on you while you sleep. And the work of God during sleep is powerful. He heals, restores, liberates. The medals are just the external symbol. What really protects you is the presence of God that you invoked through the consecration. And here is something that Padre Pio rarely said, but that is documented. The ritual of the 7 medals not only protects you, it also protects your entire house. When you hang the medals above your bed and consecrate the nights, the protection radiates to all the rooms, all the residents. It's like lighting a light that illuminates the whole house. Padre Pio called this concentric protection. The center is your bed, where the medals are, but the circles of protection expand to the entire home. Therefore, even if you are the only one in the family who does the ritual, everyone benefits. You become the nocturnal intercessor of the house, a great responsibility, but also an immense privilege. Let me tell you what Padre Pio did the last time he did the ritual of the 7 medals. It was the night of September 7th, 1968. Padre Pio was extremely debilitated, just 16 days from his death. But at midnight, he asked Brother Joseph to help him hang 7 medals above his bed. Brother Joseph asked, "Padre Pio, do you want to do the ritual even though you are so weak?" Padre Pio responded with effort, "I have done this ritual every month since 1954, 14 years. I'm not going to stop now." He prayed the rosary with a very weak voice. He consecrated the 6 nights to Our Lady, and he slept in peace in the following nights until the 13th day. Padre Pio slept without agony, without extreme pain. On September 23rd, he passed away. But Brother Joseph testified, Padre Pio's last nights were nights of peace. The medals protected him until the end. Do you realize what this means? The ritual of the 7 medals is not just for when you're in crisis. It's for a lifetime. It's for you to create a monthly rhythm of nocturnal protection that accompanies you until the last day. Padre Pio did it for 14 years. You can do it for 50 years. And when you get to the end, you will sleep in peace, as Padre Pio slept. Protected, consecrated, at peace with God. So I want to know from you now, are you going to hang the 7 medals this month? Are you willing to consecrate your nights? Write in the comments 7 medals if you are going to do the ritual next 7th at midnight. Or write today midnight if you are going to do it today still, because there is still time. Or write for my children if you are going to do it above the bed of your children who have nightmares. I want to see how many souls will seal their nights, how many families will protect themselves, how many children will sleep in peace. Padre Pio is interceding for everyone who decides to perform this ritual. Our Lady is awaiting your nighttime consecration. The 7 medals are waiting to be hung. Divine protection is waiting to be activated, but only you can take that first step. So, tell me in the comments, what is your decision? And if you know someone who suffers from recurring nightmares, who wakes up exhausted every morning, who senses presences in their room at night, please share this video with them. You might be saving a soul from years of nightly terror. You could be teaching a practice that will protect generations to come. Padre Pio used to say that a teaching like this never reaches someone by chance. It always arrives at the right moment, for the right person. If you're hearing this now, it's because God wants your night sealed. Do not ignore this calling. Hang the 7 medals, consecrate your nights, protect your sleep, and may Our Lady and all the guardian saints accompany you each night, from midnight on the 7th until nightfall on the 13th, for all the months of your life.